Welcome, people. Are you living near an alien? Because you kinda notice that it's in the news a lot now. Apparently there's aliens all over the place again now, but this time they really do exist. But once again, we don't have any great pictures of them. They're all kinda blurry again, which is kinda strange considering the technology of today. Man, of course we all know that aliens are flying in and out North and South Pole. I mean, hell, they already own most of the planet. And nearly all the leaders of the countries are all aliens, of course. Didn't you see that glint of gold in their eyes sometimes? Yeah, what a lot of codswallop. No, it's just stories being hyped up and to create a fantasy world yet again. And maybe a bit of drama too. I did like a program about 200 years ago that was called My Favorite Martian. Hey, that was pretty good way back then. He had some antennas on his head. It's quite funny, really. But anyway, I've got back from my big barbecue, and the weather was very nice. But I haven't been to a family barbecue for some time because of the old pandemic. And I was sitting there having some beers, and I kind of felt like I don't really belong here anymore. So I stayed till I thought it was the right amount of time, and then I said goodbye. Maybe next time there's a barbecue, I'll get somebody to take a cardboard cutout of me and put it in the corner so that they feel like everybody's present. Anyway, let's look at a scenario here, people. A femme walks out of her house, walks along the path, and steps on an ant. And it's deemed a complete accident. Hell, we probably have all done it sometime or other, right? Not even knowing. And it's deemed there's no malice involved at all. It was just one of those things. And she's even praised for taking it so calmly and carrying on with her day. Scenario 2. I always have two, don't I? A man walks out of his house along a path to go to work, and he accidentally steps on, say, an earwig. For those who don't know what that is, it's kind of like a small little insect with pinches on the back. But this man happens to be a straight white male. And it's deemed murder. Obviously, this man has planned it weeks in advance and knows the route of this earwig and timed it perfectly for his premeditated attack. The SWAT team immediately arrives. The man is asked to clasp his fingers to the back of his head and lay flat on the ground immediately. But they taser him anyway. Taser. The man is handcuffed and shackles put on his legs and a hood put over his head. And he's taken straight to jail. Don't pass go, $200. Well, a very silly story. But you get what I mean, don't you? That's how ridiculous it is out there in the world now. Men can be in all sorts of problems with the law and others just for being a man. Anyway, on a kind of a brighter note, which really isn't brighter, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, has just married his femme. And to be quite frank, I don't care. I don't care what his sexual preferences are. I don't care what his sexual positions he likes. All I care about is can he run the country and make the right decisions. But femmes seem more interested in talking about the backstories of the person, character assassination sort of thing, which draws the attention to something useless and misses all the important points. Boris Johnson to me is quite pompous. He's not a real working man and doesn't really know what a real working man suffers, or femme. It's obvious he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and in his speeches he kinda does talk to people as if they are children. But I think his heart is in the right place. He does want to do good for the people. Lockdown is supposed to be eased very soon, quite a lot. But it's very hard for them to let go of control, isn't it? And I'm not imagining that, you just take a look what's happened so far. But the trouble is that Boris Johnson and people like that are very far removed from the people on the street. so it's hard to imagine that they would know what to do that's best for the people. I'm going to go for a walk outside as it's a lovely day. But don't worry, I've planned my walk and I've made sure there's no insects on the path at all. In fact, I put little fences up and even bridges so they can still get across. And I was just wondering, say a young man fell asleep for some unknown reason, and slept for quite a few years and then just woke up and went outside and started talking to people or whatever, seeing what was going on, and he'd be really screwed up what's happened to the planet, wouldn't you think? A bit like that film They Live with Roddy Piper. We got one that can see. Anyway, enough of my gibberish. Talilai.